Smoke rolled through shattered corridors. Shadows flickered, debris shifted, tension coiling tight in the dim light. A gray figure lingered at the edge of sight. Blurred, unreal heart pounding as I strained to make sense of it. Footsteps echoed faintly behind walls. Was it a soldier, a survivor, or something that shouldn't exist here? Maps lay open, red markers pulsing. Danger indicated, yet unknown forces seemed to move beyond comprehension. Broken furniture and scattered supplies. Silent witnesses to chaos, panic frozen in moments we could barely grasp. Shouts cut through smoke. Commands lost in confusion, fear radiating from every corner of the ruined ward. Shadows stretched unnaturally across walls. Fleeting, indecipherable, hinting at presences we could not define. I paused. Breath caught. Whispers of wind, faint groans, metallic tang of blood, the unknown pressing close. Light flickered through cracked windows. Shapes twisted, merging reality and shadow certainty, slipping away. A sudden thump resonated nearby. Muscles coiled, senses sharp, every instinct screaming alert as danger approached. Smoke curled through dim corridors. Debris scattered, overturned furniture. Silence, heavy tension mounting. Maps lay across the table. Red markers pulsing subtly, each one a potential hazard we could not yet measure. Blacked-out reports stacked neatly. Gaps glaring, leaving questions unspoken, unease settling in the air. Pencil scratches echoed softly. Tracing halls and beds, every movement deliberate, senses alert, tense. The floor groaned beneath my boots. Splintered wood threatening each step, calculated muscles taut. Ambulance wheels rattled in the distance. A soft reminder of lives hanging fragile in the chaos. A gray figure flickered at the corridor's end. Blurred by flickering light, heart-hammering doubts rising. Radio bursts hissed intermittently. Fragmented messages cut through as I tried to decode threats unseen. Notes marked every bed. Each corridor tracked methodically, anomalies highlighted, focus razor sharp. Shadows danced along walls. Subtle, unsettling, the ward itself seeming to breathe alive with tension. I paused at a junction, listening to whispers of wind and distant artillery, each sound amplified in suspense. The antiseptic scent mingled with damp wood. Memories surged, fear coiled tightly, concentration sharpened. Flickering lights revealed overturned carts. Scattered medical tools, minor chaos, frozen silent menace. A soft thump resonated nearby. Perhaps loose boards. Perhaps something else. My attention spiked instantly. Each red mark pulsed like a heartbeat, mapping unseen threats, danger, lurking eyes, scanning every shadow. I reviewed my notes. Pencil hovering clues, gathered yet incomplete uncertainty, pressing tension rising. Hallway doors creaked. A draft stirred papers, shadows stretched, subtle cues demanding heightened vigilance. I crouched low, scanning the floor, faint footprints barely visible, every detail catalogued meticulously. Distant machinery groaned. Vibrations traveled through walls, the environment alive, nerves taut and alert. My shadow elongated with each step, measured careful alert to unseen presences ready to react. The smell of old bandages lingered sharply, triggering recollections, chaos and fear entwined in memory. Empty beds spoke silently. Gaps of absence, lives displaced, awareness sharpened, attention unwavering. Light flickered through cracked panes. Shadows twisted and stretched, perception strained, reality blurred. I navigated debris-strewn floors, boots crunching over glass, every movement deliberate, senses acute. Radio sputtered again. Fragments of garbled speech patterns emerged, subtly indicating hidden hazards. A gray shape moved beyond sight. Too fast to track, yet undeniably present, awareness heightened sharply. Maps annotated, corridors measured, anomalies recorded with care, every detail painstakingly noted. The ward hummed faintly. Vibrations echoed, silence, deceptive anticipation hung thick, tension coiling. I paused at the nurse's station, scanning instruments, noting malfunctions, subtle irregularities observed. Each bed told a story. Some empty, some occupied, the weight of fear and trauma pressing silently. Shadows shifted imperceptibly, brushing edges of vision, a presence sensed, never fully revealed, unnerving. My notebook filled rapidly, every mark a tether to reality, mental map tightening, uncertainty pressing. Flickers of movement at hall corners, perhaps wind, perhaps watching eyes, hyper-awareness keeping me poised. Breath measured, pulse steady, mind rehearsing potential outcomes, nerves coiled, anticipation thick. I fixed eyes on the central corridor, aware that danger, known or unknown, could materialize at any moment. I stepped out into the muddy courtyard, boots sinking each step, measured senses, straining eyes scanning. Fog clung low to the ground, obscuring trenches and shattered walls, shadows moving where none should be. Soldiers fanned out methodically, rifles at the ready, breathing shallow, alert to every sudden noise. I crouched behind a barricade, listening to distant artillery, heart-hammering, mind cataloging positions. Mud splashed with each careful step, waterlogged terrain threatening to betray our location, nerves taut. Shouts echoed from across the field, commands and warnings mingling, tension, palpable, muscles coiled. I paused at a ruined wall, surveying the area, noticing footprints, subtle signs of enemy movement nearby. Smoke swirled along the perimeter, shapes shifting, uncertainty pressing, eyes darting for anomalies. I checked my compass, confirming coordinates, cross-referencing maps, ensuring no step took us off plan. Distant screams pierced the fog. Fear and chaos intermingled, adrenaline spiking, reflexes sharpening. I signaled left flank. Soldiers adjusted silently, maintaining formation movements, precise, nerves taut. Shells whistled overhead, debris scattered, each impact vibrating through ground and bone, focus unwavering. I ducked low behind rubble, scanning for threats, noting cover, anticipating ambush, senses heightened. Water pooled in craters, reflections distorted movement, creating phantom shapes, confusing perception. I noticed a shadow moving quickly, too fast to identify, instinct flared, muscles tensing instantly. Orders came over the radio, fragmented, static laced. I repeated mentally, ensuring full comprehension. I adjusted my pack straps, checking ammo, grenades, maps, every detail secured, ready for anything. Mud clung to boots and uniform, each step effortful, dragging weight, yet progress crucial, no hesitation. A sudden rustle nearby. I froze, scanning, heartbeat pounding, the unknown pressing, senses alert. Soldiers whispered positions, hand signals precise, maintaining stealth, coordinating every move carefully. I crawled through shattered trench, eyes level with the ground, noting terrain hazards, debris, and cover. Rain began to drizzle lightly, cold droplets masking sound, mixing with mud, visibility further reduced. I heard faint movement ahead. Pause, focus, assessing threat, calculating next steps, muscles coiled. Broken rifles lay scattered, signs of struggle, evidence of prior engagement, tension rising with each glance. I signaled advance cautiously. Soldiers obeyed, every footfall, deliberate silence maintained, nerves taut. Shadows lengthened across the mud. Every shape potentially hostile, vigilance, absolute, reflexes sharp. I paused at a crossroad, comparing maps, landmarks, ensuring no deviation from assigned objectives. Faint cries echoed from trenches. Civilians or wounded soldiers, uncertainty pressing, awareness heightened. I crawled low again. Mud and water-soaked uniform, every movement, deliberate, senses keyed for threats. Flashes of light from distant explosions. Brief illumination revealed silhouettes. Then darkness returned. I marked positions mentally, noting enemy cover, potential ambush points, paths for safe advance. Wind shifted, carrying scent of smoke. Metallic tang of blood, heightened awareness, focus absolute. Soldiers adjusted quietly. Anticipation hung in the air, muscles tense, eyes scanning continuously. I took a breath, steadying myself. Mental map, clear body ready, moving forward despite uncertainty. Central courtyard came into view. Debris and shadows intermingled, danger everywhere, caution paramount. Chaos erupted suddenly. Smoke and dust obscured vision, soldiers shouted, confusion spreading rapidly. I stumbled over debris, instinct kicking in, scanning for threats, heart pounding, mind racing. Shouts and gunfire echoed, coordination faltering, units scattered, tensions spiking with each second. I ducked behind rubble, eyes scanning frantic movement, every shadow potentially lethal, senses sharp. Explosions rattled nearby walls. Debris flying, adrenaline surged, focus narrowed, survival paramount. Soldiers called positions frantically. Miscommunication, rampant, orders lost in the roar, nerves taut. I sprinted through mud, avoiding fallen comrades, debris, eyes locked on moving silhouettes ahead. Flashes of light illuminated chaos. Fleeting shapes, gunfire, screams, the battlefield a maelstrom. I dove into a trench. Water and mud soaking uniform cover, partial tension escalating with every sound. Smoke thickened, choking air. Vision reduced, threats, unpredictable instincts guiding each motion. I heard a low growl nearby. Perhaps animal, perhaps enemy, muscles tensed, reaction instant. Shrapnel whistled overhead, impacting dangerously close, forcing abrupt dives, heart hammering. Soldiers regrouped sporadically. Order, fragile coordination, tenuous fear, and focus intertwined. I crawled under a fallen beam, noting hazards, tracking enemy movements, staying low and silent. Mud clung to boots, slowing advance. Awareness sharp, each step calculated, survival instincts heightened. I glanced at the radio. Static, overwhelmed signals, fragments of orders, barely audible, tension thick. Shadows shifted unpredictably. Silhouettes darting, movement unclear, every step a risk, senses keyed. Explosions shook the ground. Debris and dust filling corridors, visibility minimal, danger omnipresent. I reached a crumbling wall, scanning adjacent areas, noting potential ambush points, mentally mapping escape. Soldiers fired intermittently, shots echoing, panicked movement coordination slipping further, fear rising. I paused, listening intently. Wind carried distant screams, metallic tang of blood, focus unwavering. Smoke revealed fleeting forms, indistinct, blurred, moving too fast to identify, nerves straining. I ducked again, close to the ground, covering vital points, ready to react, awareness acute. Muddy water splashed as I shifted. Every motion, deliberate, threats everywhere, mind calculating danger. Flashes revealed broken structures. Obstacles everywhere, paths unclear. Survival decisions immediate. I signaled left flank quickly. Soldiers reacted, movement coordinated under extreme stress, tension thick. Sounds overlapped chaotically. Explosions, gunfire, screams, communications lost, heart racing violently. I crawled along a corridor edge, scanning debris, noting threats moving deliberately despite chaos. Shadows merged with smoke. Figures indistinguishable, anticipation high, each step fraught with peril. I paused to mark positions mentally. Enemy cover, safe pathways, escape routes under duress. Soldiers regrouped under fire. Discipline fraying, orders barely followed, chaos dominating action. I ducked low as debris fell. Heart-pounding reflexes, sharp focus narrowed to survival only. Flashes revealed the courtyard. Scattered bodies, overturned obstacles, movement unpredictable everywhere. I noted the position of injured, assessing immediate threats, aiding silently, vigilance maintained. Smoke and dust obscured details. Shapes blurred, threats emerged randomly, tension relentless. I adjusted equipment quickly. Rifle-ready maps, secure mental checklist racing through each step. Footsteps echoed irregularly. Friend or foe, uncertain, attention split, nerves stretched to the limit. I crouched behind rubble again, listening, observing, preparing to move as the chaos intensified. Shadows flickered unpredictably. Fleeting glimpses of movement, uncertainty pressing from all sides. Explosions erupted closer. Walls trembled, debris fell, instinct guided every action, adrenaline surged. I called a quick assessment. Soldiers responded minimally, cohesion fraying, awareness heightened. Smoke carried distant screams. Metallic scent in the air, survival instincts dominating decision-making. I moved deliberately through chaos, avoiding hazards, scanning constantly, every sense alert. Flashes revealed temporary cover. I calculated each path, anticipating enemy position and timing. I reached a partial barricade, paused, chest heaving, aware that the situation was far from under control. The ground shook violently. Walls cracked, debris tumbled, chaos consuming the courtyard, fear pressing hard. I pressed low against shattered cover, dust in my eyes, every movement calculated, heart racing with tension. Screams cut through smoke. Soldiers scrambling, coordination, collapsing, panic surging in all directions. I slid behind a ruined wall. Fragments of wood and stone littered the floor cover, barely adequate. Flames licked through broken windows. Heat, intense smoke, thick vision, obscured danger pressing close. I ducked beneath a collapsed beam, scanning rapidly, noting enemy movements, senses sharp and alert. Explosions sent debris flying. Mud splattered, alarms blaring in the distance, nerves taut, focus narrow. Soldiers shouted, scrambling for positions. Discipline fraying, each command lost in the turmoil. I observed a fallen comrade, assessing injuries, silently noting threats, survival instincts engaged fully. Smoke curled through shattered halls. Shapes flickered unpredictably, threats emerging, reflexes coiled. I moved through rubble-strewn corridors, every step cautious eyes darting, awareness at maximum. Shouts and gunfire collided, echoes confusing, fear rising, coordination, tenuous tension spiking. I crouched behind a toppled barricade, scanning all angles, ready for sudden engagement, heart pounding. Dust filled the air heavily. Every inhalation, sharp surroundings obscured, senses stretched thin. I glimpsed movement in the shadows, shapes shifting unpredictably, each step potentially lethal. Soldiers fired sporadically. Panicked reactions, shots, misaligned, fear dominating tactical sense. I crawled through shattered trenches, mud clinging cover, partial alert to every subtle sound. Explosions rattled distant walls, fragments falling dangerously, focus narrowing, survival paramount. I signaled left flank quickly. Soldiers adjusted cautiously, movement deliberate under extreme stress. Shadows merged with smoke. Shapes indistinguishable, nerves taut, eyes scanning every corner. I paused briefly behind debris. Mental map forming routes and hazards, catalogued, body tense. Flashes illuminated fleeting forms. Friend or foe unclear, anticipation spiking, adrenaline sharp. I ducked low again, tracking every movement, sensing unseen threats, concentration unwavering. Smoke carried the acrid tang of gunpowder, metallic scent of blood, danger pressing from all sides. I moved cautiously along crumbling walls, debris underfoot, careful to avoid exposure, reflexes ready. Soldiers scattered under fire, coordination failing, panic rising, survival instinct overriding order. I scanned the courtyard quickly, noting overturned obstacles, cover points, potential ambush sites. Shadows flickered, then vanished. Shapes, elusive perception, tested anticipation, sharp and steady. I paused to mark positions mentally, tracking threats, noting gaps, calculating safest movements. Explosions tore through nearby structures. Dust and debris filled corridors. Visibility minimal, nerves stretched. I adjusted pack and weapon, ensuring readiness, maintaining focus despite chaos surrounding every step. Soldiers moved erratically. Fear evident, cohesion crumbling, panic dominating, instinct overtraining. I ducked behind rubble once more. Eyes scanning movements, measured, heart racing, senses keen. Smoke swirled unpredictably. Forms appeared and disappeared, pressure building, mind, sharp reflexes coiled. I took a calculated breath, preparing for next engagement, muscles tight, anticipation thick in every vein. Flashes revealed partially obscured paths. Careful observation mapping potential hazards, adjusting course. I crawled through mud and shattered debris. Boots, heavy movements, deliberate awareness, razor sharp. Soldiers regrouped sporadically. Fear, palpable commands, fragmented order, barely surviving under pressure. I pressed forward cautiously, scanning constantly, anticipating every sudden movement, reflexes primed. Central courtyard loomed ahead. Devastation, evident danger, ubiquitous, every sense strained to survive. Smoke began to settle. The courtyard revealed wreckage, overturned carts, and broken equipment scattered widely. I moved carefully among the debris, noting each hazard, fallen soldiers, and signs of prior engagements meticulously. Silence hung heavily, interrupted only by distant groans, creaking structures, and the faint drip of water. I checked injured soldiers. Minor cuts, bruises, sprained ankles, every detail recorded silently in memory. Children and civilians emerged cautiously, eyes wide with fear absorbing trauma too vast to process immediately. I examined collapsed barricades, wood-splintered sandbags, torn open, evidence of forceful impacts everywhere. Fires smoldered in corners. Smoke curling slowly, acrid scent, lingering, visibility reduced, but not critical. I catalogued broken weapons. Rifles, cracked bayonets, bent ammo scattered, noting each for future reports. The ground was churned to mud. Footprints, overlapping tracking movements, some deliberate, some panicked. I observed structural damage. Walls cracked, windows shattered, ceilings partially collapsed, hazards abundant. Medical supplies strewn across floors. Bandages, soaked instruments, broken order turned to chaos, tension, thick. I assessed communication lines. Radios, damaged wiring, torn signals, inconsistent coordination compromised. Debris blocked pathways. Maneuvering difficult, soldiers slipping, progress slowed, nerves stretched thin. I noted the positions of dead or missing. Mental map forming locations marked for extraction and investigation. Smoke revealed subtle movements. Survivors stirring, assessing surroundings cautiously, fear palpable in every face. I walked carefully through corridors, scanning for hazards, noting compromised floors, unstable beams overhead. Soldiers counted resources quietly. Rations, ammo, and medical supplies catalogued, priorities set immediately. I paused near a collapsed wall, analyzing damage patterns, noting potential causes, maintaining situational awareness. Flooded areas hindered movement. Water pooling, mud, thick, careful steps required to avoid accidents or exposure. I observed equipment failures. Generators sputtering, lights flickering, communications, intermittent tension rising. Barricades breached, cover insufficient. Every movement measured, eyes constantly scanning for hidden threats. I noted improvised defensive positions. Sandbags, rubble, scattered debris, some offering minimal protection only. Structural instability was evident. Cracks, widening beams, teetering, risk of further collapse high and constant. I documented environmental hazards. Slippery floors, exposed nails, shattered glass, each step taken with care. Soldiers treated minor injuries cautiously, bandaging cuts, stabilizing sprains, maintaining composure despite chaos. I scanned the perimeter continuously, noting gaps, weak points, areas requiring reinforcement, attention unwavering. Smoke and dust settled further. Visibility improved slightly, revealing hidden dangers previously obscured. I catalogued casualties and damages, mental and physical inventories, ensuring nothing overlooked, precision key. Broken structures groaned faintly, instability lingering, reminding everyone of potential secondary hazards present. I paused at the central hall, surveying the aftermath, fully aware that the cost of chaos extended beyond sight. The smoke finally thinned. Corridors revealed subtle traces, debris, shifting secrets lingering in shadowed corners. I scanned the hallways carefully. Faint footprints, discarded items, clues to what had moved unseen among us. Broken glass reflected dim light. Fragments scattered, each shard a silent witness to chaos past. I paused at a collapsed doorway, noticing marks, unusual patterns, questions forming in my mind. Whispers of movement echoed. Empty corridors seemed alive, hinting at presences we could not explain. I documented every anomaly. Marks on walls, displaced objects, evidence of fleeting shadows and strange occurrences. Smoke traces led to rooms. Subtle differences in debris footprints, and disturbed dust suggesting hidden passage. I checked maps against the terrain. Some areas unaccounted for, gaps in prior observations now troubling. Shadows flickered at the periphery, fleeting, almost imperceptible, raising doubts and stirring unease. I traced a path through rubble, noting objects out of place, aligning each observation with mental map. Faint signals from radios persisted, garbled, intermittent, hinting at transmissions we had missed earlier. I revisited fallen barricades. noting marks inconsistent with known activity questions deepening. Footprints led into collapsed corridors. Direction unclear, origin uncertain, the mystery pressing. I examined scattered medical supplies. Some missing, others untouched, anomalies difficult to reconcile. Dust disturbed in corners suggested movement. Subtle, deliberate, impossible to track completely. I mapped anomalies carefully. Each discrepancy recorded potential connections noted for later review. Strange sounds lingered faintly. Echoes that could not be explained, raising tension and curiosity simultaneously. I compared observations with reports. Inconsistencies emerged, data gaps requiring deeper investigation. Windows shattered in uneven patterns, suggesting more than the chaos of battle. Lingering questions remained. I noted faint handprints on walls, small, partial, impossible to identify, adding to the unresolved puzzle. Shadows moved across broken floors, shapes indistinct as if something unseen had passed through moments ago. I catalogued each irregularity. Marks, debris, subtle signs of intrusion or unknown presence carefully logged. The scent of smoke lingered, acrid and faint, mixing with antiseptic, a reminder of danger and aftermath. I revisited injured areas. Nothing new, but subtle changes suggested prior activity unnoticed in the chaos. Maps and notes intertwined in my mind, aligning every clue, every anomaly, still gaps impossible to fill fully. I paused at the central corridor, aware of missing pieces, fragments of the story lingering just out of reach. Faint echoes of footsteps haunted the hallways, or memory playing tricks, uncertainty weaving tension. I traced signal patterns again. Radios and transmissions hinted at overlooked activity, connections tenuous. Each mark and shadow recorded. Mental map, complete as possible, yet full understanding remained elusive. I stepped back, surveying all, aware that the final pieces were missing, leaving the memory incomplete but preserved.